as you say, it's a story of an unfinished business. And I've spoken with JC Punong Bayan of UP Diliman, and he did have a column in Rappler saying, while transitioning into upper middle income is going to be great, a great headline. And also for press releases for the government, it won't magically mean anything for the economy's problems or by ordinary Filipinos. What does it mean for the poor then if we do achieve upper middle income country?
So, in a way, the definition of what an upper middle income country is, as defined by the World Bank, there's a line, there's a threshold, or a level of GNI, of gross national income per capita, that if crossed, then you're considered to be an upper middle income country. The graduation to upper middle income status takes 3 consecutive years of having that level of income. So it's not something that immediately will say the Philippines graduated. We need that level of income to be sustained for some time. But one could say, well, if your income is $1 below or $1 above that threshold, the country moves from being low middle income to being upper middle income. For people, there's not much difference, earning $1 less or $1 more. The key element is whether that transition comes with better jobs for the people, better earnings, better living standards, better quality of life. So that's where the crucial element is. The transition itself, the reason it's meaningful is because in a way it signals that there's a country in a process of growth. It's a country that is moving in the right direction. In a way, it's a milestone that you're hitting. But again, the important thing is what is happening with living conditions in the country. Are we seeing that growth benefits the less privileged? Are we seeing that growth comes with more and better jobs? Are we seeing that growth comes with better real wages for people? And we do see that. And again, progress and unfinished business. It's not a completely rosy picture, but it's a story of progress. And let me give you a couple of indicators or a couple of reasons why we see this progress. We recently launched a report that looks at growth and jobs creation in the Philippines for the last 20 years. And we see a few things. So we see the last 15 years saw something that is quite remarkable, that is pro-poor growth. What does it mean? It means that if you look at what happened with the incomes of the bottom 40% of the population, their incomes for the last 15 years grew faster than the average income. Right? So growth benefited the poor. Does that mean that inequalities were completely eliminated? No. This is a country in which you have inequality.
Did it become worse, inequality? What did the data say?
Inequality declined. In fact, over the last years, inequality, there are many ways in which you can measure inequality. The typical indicator is the Gini coefficient that basically measures how different income levels are. And what we see is the Gini coefficient has declined over time, and is a consequence of growth having been pro-poor, of growth having been higher for the bottom 40% of the population than for the average and for the top. So pro-poor growth led to a decline in inequality, led to improved living standards of the poor. And pro-poor growth happened because we have more and better jobs created in the country. So as I mentioned, 11.7 million jobs. To give you a little bit of context, employment grew faster than population growth, meaning more jobs were created than people were looking for. And that's why what you see is an employment going down, and you see underemployment also going down. So these are things that mark that living conditions improved. Over the last 15 years, real wages, the purchasing power of earnings of people, increased by about 24%. That's also a substantial increase. So these are things that show that living conditions are improving. Perhaps much more than saying, okay, we moved to upper middle income status, we crossed that threshold by $1. Right? No, real wages last 15 years, 24% higher, pro-poor growth, also spatially balanced growth. This is something that marks a difference from what we were seeing in the first decade of the 2000s in the Philippines. In the first decade of the 2000s in the Philippines, growth was driven by growth in Metro Manila. Uh, what we see in the last 15 years is growth being driven by growth in low and middle income regions. And that's a good thing. The fact that you have that living conditions are not just improving in a specific area of the country, they're improving across the country. So these are signs of progress.